Shit 90 shows taught me.
Shit 90 Shows Taught Me was not filmed before a live studio audience.
Welcome back to Shit 90 Shows Taught Me. I'm Jess Sterling here with my co-host Sarah Humphrey. Sarah, how are you?
I'm good. Ho. It's the Christmas season. Once again, to my favorite ho. Yeah.
Yep.
Never dies. It never dies. Welcome to our 2024 coverage of Christmas Spectacular.
Yes.
How many other Christmas movies have we done?
So
Plenty.
many.
Plenty.
I mean, at least 8. I think.
This is our 5th Christmas? That doesn't, I think it is. 2020, 2021, 2022,
Yeah.
2023, 2024, 5.
It's our
5.
5th Christmas.
Yeah. Wow. It's pretty incredible.
I mean,
that's a lot of Christmases.
I was just going to say, it is a lot of Christmases.
So if you haven't checked out any of our other Christmas movies, some of the more popular movies from our days as like a 90s kid, we have them. We've covered them. We've just done them all. So we don't have any
We've
left.
done so many. Yeah, we did Jack Frost, I'll Be Home for Christmas. That was last year. We've done Home Alone, Home Alone 2. We've done
Santa Claus, I'm sure.
We definitely talked about the Santa Claus. Yeah, we talked about the Santa Claus.
Hanukkah.
We've done some Hanukkah content. Our first Christmas podcast ever was Jingle All the Way.
Mm-hmm.
So we've talked a lot of Christmas stuff. So now we're kind of, I don't want to say scraping the bottom of the barrel, but
yeah,
we're getting to the point where it's like, what else is there to cover? And this was one that neither of us had ever seen, I believe. We love a Sandy B moment, so it kind of felt only natural to cover while you were sleeping. We also love rom-coms. So this felt like I was fixing a gap in my 90s knowledge, Sarah, watching this film.
Sure. I think like at the very least, you're right. Like, I mean, we both really like Sandra Bullock. Like one of my favorite Sandra Bullock movies is Practical Magic. We've covered Practical Magic. I'm sure we've covered other Sandy B movies.
We have to have. I mean, one of my favorite, can you guess my favorite Sandy B movie? It's not a 90s movie.
Miss Congeniality?
Of course it is. Yes.
Yeah.
I love Miss Congeniality.
I think we did Speed. We still don't know why the bus is going.
Oh my God, I forgot we covered Speed.
Yeah, we did that. I don't know. I mean, I'm still trying to figure out what happened.
That movie was unhinged.
It was. So we've covered a good amount.
Have you ever seen Hope Floats?
No, I don't know. I don't know Hope Floats.
I haven't either. It is in the 90s and it's a Sandy B movie.
Mm-hmm. Huh. Yeah, maybe the only thing that we've only seen the same like 3 movies by Sandra Bullock, and we're like, we're the biggest fans.
We love her.
We love her. We've seen 2 of her movies, but she's absolutely incredible.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, today we are righting the wrong of never having seen While You Were Sleeping. This is 1995 classic, and it is a Christmas movie. It does take place over like Christmas and New Year's, not in New York City, Sarah, for like once ever.
Yeah, it kind of chirped me because I did think that they were trying to be in New York City, but this is firmly Chicago. Yeah, this movie came out in April of 1995, like 4 days before my little sister was born. So,
Wow.
I think my question is it a Christmas movie or does it take place during Christmas?
Fascinating. Okay. I will say this movie does feel Christmassy because there's a gift exchange that happens.
Mm-hmm.
I do think when you think about the not moral of the movie, but like the goal of the movie, what the movie is all about is like loneliness and wanting friends and family around the holidays. Like I do think there is an emphasis on like specifically Lucy is very lonely on the holidays and like she always works the holidays. So I think it inherently is a holiday film. What do you think?
Yeah, I guess so. It takes place around Christmas and New Year's. So I would say so. I'm not like it's not like glaringly Christmassy like the Santa Claus. I don't see any Santa, but there was a holiday exchange. I really did not know where this movie was going because like even though Bill Pullman is in the
Yes, the what is it? Cover art, whatever
yeah.
it's called.
Yeah.
I'm so happy you brought this up because I wasn't paying attention. Like I didn't look very closely at the
Mhm.
image when I clicked like play on it. My husband though, he noticed. So when we met Peter Gallagher, who like I assumed was the love interest,
Mhm.
turns out no, my guy Peter is going to be in a coma the majority of the
Yeah, Peter Gallagher
movie.
was, like, too busy. Too busy, and I guess not famous enough for him to be the star of this movie. They were like, "We will put you in bed. All you have to do is look hot while you're sleeping.
Exactly.
That's
Look hot while you were sleeping.
that's all you have to do." But I thought it was a really interesting concept. Like, I didn't really at first, I felt like, "Oh, you know, he will wake up and like maybe it was like an amnesia movie and maybe he gets like tricked into thinking that they're really together, but it's
Yeah.
in reality a classic story of when there is two brothers, it is very hard to not think the other brother's hot.
This a classic tale.
Yeah.
Tale as old as time. Now I'm trying to think. I've never I just realized something.
What's that?
I've never dated a
Mhm.
person with a brother.
Yes, that
I
is
have
interesting.
only dated people who were either only children or had
Yeah.
a sister.
I wonder if there's some sort of like psychological reasoning as to like you're more drawn to guys with a softer side
I
to
mean,
like
certainly I think that's true.
to
But it
counteract like your boldness, something along those lines.
this is so fascinating now because I'm wondering if like would I inherently find like if my husband had a brother,
Mhm.
would I find him attractive?
Mm.
Obviously depends on what he looks like. But if he
Mm,
looked kind of like my husband, then wouldn't I inherently be attracted to him?
the answer is yes. Yeah. The answer
Funnily enough
is
though,
yes.
Bill Pullman and Peter look nothing alike.
No, not one bit, but the genetics be geneticking, I'm sure,
Does Adam and his brother look alike?
No, but they're only half siblings, so
Okay.
yeah, so they don't really look alike, but I was attracted to my ex's brother.
Really? Did they look alike?
Yes, except that the ex's brother was, like, 5 inches taller
Well, I mean, obviously you're gonna be attractive then, yeah.
and a better
Height
head of hair,
equals
but, um
yeah.
but then eventually he got uggo,
As as people do.
as people
Um,
do.
so yeah, let's talk about the cast of this film because obviously we talked Sandy B is in this movie. She's almost giving speaking of my famous congeniality,
Mhm,
like it's like they're like, let's make her ugly. Like, and I don't mean like
mhm,
you can't make Sandra Bullock ugly, like
no,
it's impossible, but it's almost like the miscongeniality trick of like, we're gonna give her tiny bangs, we're gonna make her hair be just like a hot ass mess for the entire film, which I feel like is kind of true to it being taking place in Chicago in the winter. Like, you're gonna be wearing a hat, your hair's gonna look like hell, you know?
yeah,
This felt
yeah,
realistic.
yeah.
So they're like, let's try to make Sandy be unattractive. It doesn't work because she's still always attractive, but we have to acknowledge they tried.
Yeah, a little homely looking. I think
Yeah.
like she is not too far off from the Miss Congeniality character. A little dorky, a
Yeah.
little, like a little quirky. I guess just like a typical Sandra Bullock type of character that she can pull off.
Yeah.
But I liked Lucy, and there's so many times where we watch these movies and we're like, God, like the main character is insufferable. Like she puts on this whole thing, and I feel like it was only 60% her fault.
Yes, certainly not 100%. And I am going to hold a lot of characters accountable for giving her shitty advice because so many of them do give her shitty advice. I feel like she is particularly susceptible to making these ginormous mistakes she makes because one, it's the holidays and none of us are rational human beings around the holidays. Two, she's literally a single cat lady.
Oh my god,
um,
yes. Yeah, she's a single cat lady, and what's the
mhm. The
it's like
cat's name?
I'm 28, I have no prospects, I'm a burden to my family who's all dead.
Yeah.
Like, she's pretty much got nothing. All she has is her cat, which
Yes.
that cat's pretty cute, not as cute
The cat was
as
cute, yeah.
the other cat. This one was like
Fluffy.
calico.
Yep, I
Um,
liked the calico cat, reminds me of my grandma, and
oh,
my grandma had a calico cat.
no, I think your grandma just looks like a calico cat.
My grandma looks and sometimes she'd just go, "Meow." So
Well, that's
so
a
it makes
choice.
sense.
Now,
Yeah,
before let's just stop down on the cats because you know what I'm gonna do.
you're gonna look and see if they're on the cat website.
Cinema cats.
Cinema Cats, thank you
Yeah.
very much.
We are
Cinemacats.com, not sponsored, but we'd love to be.
I was about to say we are.
Oh, we
But
are sponsored
I
by Cinema
wish.
Cats.
I
Yeah.
wish. Okay, so
So are they on
God,
cinemacats.com?
okay, still with all due respect to Cinema Cats, like it is not an intuitive website, but
It's
it,
very difficult to
it
navigate.
is
Isn't there search? Let me see. While you were sleeping.
yep,
It's
got
they're
it.
in their 10th year of chronicling cats in movies, TV,
Yep.
and more.
Okay, got it. I got it. Okay. Princess. The calico cat is named Princess. Oh, you
If you're
have
watching us
thank
on YouTube,
you.
I am pulling this up on our screens. Yes. So
Yes,
this is
thank you.
Princess.
Okay, we have a full synopsis of what Princess is up to.
They
Uh,
have like screenshots from the movie and
yeah.
everything.
I think the cat's name apparently is Mel, which I don't think I ever got that. But then more importantly, um
There she is.
there she is. Maybe this one is Princess. That would make more sense. But we also have Fluffy, who is in here as
Yeah, a
well.
Persian cat named Fluffy.
Yeah, gorgeous, gorgeous cat. That is literally my dream cat.
Yeah.
I, I, I think of that cat.
I
Quite
love the
honestly.
final musings. If you
Yeah.
ever end up in a coma, make sure someone knows to feed your cat.
Okay.
That's their
Hold
final
on. Hold on.
musing. What?
Apparently, their princess, whichever one is princess, has a a dark meth past.
Also starring Princess. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
Princess is the
Listen
Fluffy.
to
Is
this.
Fluffy.
Listen to this. An
There's a
article
dark
from
myth past.
yes, an article from the August 2nd edition of the Herald Journal explained how Princess was left behind when her owner passed away and the family fought over all the effects of the deceased, but nobody wanted the cat.
No one wanted Princess?
The attorney called Dale Armand's no-kill shelter in Bloomington, Illinois, but there was no room for the cat. So Armand adopted the cat herself. Immediately, the cat hopped in my bed, and she always allowed me to share my pillow with her. Armand named the cat Princess because she acted like one. Armand thought Princess was so beautiful and and started an acting agent for Princess, getting her into several commercials before her big break in this film.
Wow.
Wow.
I mean, look at this face.
I mean, I would say that cat is perfect. Absolutely fucking perfect. How do we know that that's Princess and not the other one?
Because it says also starring Princess.
Yeah, but then what's the other cat's name?
Oh, wait, no. Lucy owned a long-haired calico cat named Mel, played by a cat actor, Princess.
So we don't
So
know
this is
what
Mel.
the version's name is.
So Calico
She's-
Cat is
She's
Mel.
illusion. Yeah, so that Mel is the one with the dark meth past.
Oh, okay. So then what's this Persian cat's name? I guess
None
just
of it.
Fluffy.
It's really none of our business.
No one cares.
Why would you ask that
Yeah.
question?
While we're doing this and while we're sharing screen, like they really did Sandy B dirty with these
Yeah.
bangs. I have to admit, because as a woman who had bangs a large portion of her young adult life, These looks are just tragic. Like, having to brush them aside and then, like, clip the rest of your hair back is just a tragedy in and of itself.
It's a bit ugly, but you
It's
know
really
what?
bad.
She's trying.
She tried
So,
her
yeah.
best.
So not only does Princess have a dark myth past, but Sandy B as Lucy also does, because she has a dead mom, and then
Mhm.
her dad was very attentive and did love her. I thought that he was going to abandon her, but he did not. But then he got sick, and then they moved from Indiana to Chicago, so that he can get better medical attention. But then he died, so she is an orphan.
It's even worse than that, because I feel like when she tells the story to is his name Paul? Now I'm like blanking on the names. What's
Peter
just the one that she falls in love with?
or Jake?
Jack.
Jack.
Jack, yeah. When she tells Jack about this whole story about her father, she's like, "Oh, when we moved here so he could get treatment, because it was like a super rare kind of like cancer or whatever the heck." And
Yeah.
she's like, "And then he got treatment for a while, and then he decided he was tired, and then he died." So it was like, "Oh, so he got treatment, but then the treatment was so brutal that he eventually just gave up and died." Like, it's even more tragic. This poor woman. And
Yeah.
truly, Sarah, we're seeing the terrors of capitalism in this film,
Mm.
because Lucy's boss is like, "Oh, BT Dubs, you're employee of the month, but that's because you work all the holidays and everything else because everyone else has families and you're a lonely, lonely, lonely cat lady."
Did I ever tell you about the time that I was so determined to get employee of the month at Stop and Shop that I wrote 100 reasons as to why I should be employee of the month, and I posted it on the bulletin board?
Why did you was there like a cash prize?
No.
It was just recognition?
Yeah.
Sarah, that's
Which
really sad.
I know I needed the recognition and I didn't get it.
You didn't get it after all that?
No, I
They
think they
probably were like, "You should have been working while you were making this
yeah,
list."
probably. But no, they I typed it up at home and I printed it out. They were like, "You know what? I don't think we're gonna do employee of the month anymore," and they stopped it.
They canceled it!
And I think it was because, like, oh, this is getting like a little too competitive or
They're like,
something.
"This girl is literally gonna off herself if we don't give her employee of the
So
month."
I think, I mean, I'm honest, like, honest to God, I think that they stopped employee of the month because of me.
Oh my god, that is hysterical.
Yeah. Yeah. If I can make a
Wow.
big deal about something, I will. But
I mean, that sounds accurate.
yeah, but I didn't get it. I was not employee of the month. And
Wow.
then remember, we might also hear some bullshit. Remember student of the month in school, high
Yes,
school?
of course,
I
yeah.
never got that because I was dumb as shit, but that's not fair. Everybody should get it.
I don't think that's how awards work, but
Oh,
okay.
okay.
Um, Lucy is sad, and I don't really understand. So she works for the CTA, the Chicago Transit Authority,
Hmm.
and she's a fare token collector. I
Yeah.
don't understand any of this because I've never used Chicago Transit. I've never used like Chicago trains.
Mhm.
The only like mass transit I've really used is like in New York City on the subway, and you have
Yeah.
Metro cards and you scan them.
Yeah, but
So
this is before that, Jessica.
so what do? You purchase a token? And
Yes.
she literally her entire job is to take a token from someone?
I think like I think she probably has like all the tokens and then people give her cash and then she gives them tokens.
Oh, that makes more sense. Okay. So yeah, so she's collecting tokens, and she like has love at first sight with this man, Peter. Because he always arrive every day. He comes in at this particular time and he like gives up his seat to people, and she just thinks he's like absolutely so handsome. And so she is like, "I'm in love with him." And it all starts, Sarah. This is I feel like this is a 90s, like not cliche, like a trope that a lot of movies do, where it's like, we're going to start where it began when I was 7 with my
Mhm,
dad, right? We're
mhm.
like, my dad set up unrealistic love life expectations for
Yeah.
me because he called my mom the world, or she gave him the world.
Mm.
So we're already starting off with unrealistic expectations
And
for
the
people.
song, I forget what the song was, but that was like such a 90s movie song as well. It was
Yes,
in The
yes.
Parent Trap. I'm just like forgetting what the song
I
is
was
called.
singing along to it, and I also forget what it was, but I really liked it. Yeah, and so she has these unrealistic expectations for men, of course. Oh, this will be an everlasting love. This
Yes,
will
yes,
be
yes.
Natalie Cole. Yeah. And so she's like in love with this guy Peter. And he's played by, of course, what's his face from the OC. He's in the
Peter
OC.
Gallagher.
Yeah, that's right. It threw me off because I thought that literally his name was Peter. I
Peter.
thought literally it was Peter Gallagher, but it's Peter Gallagher, Peter Callahan.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
very close though.
Yeah, it is pretty close, double L's. This guy was also in Zoe's extraordinary playlist as the
Yeah,
dad that was no longer able to communicate
yes, loved him
through
in that. I thought he was so good in that. Like, it's really. I mean, I can imagine it must be very difficult to play a character that can't really emote, but he did
Mhm,
such a good job at it.
mhm, yeah. Yeah. So that's how I know of him. And Chicago, if you don't know, it's full of hoodlums. And and poor Peter Calloway was minding his own business with his red scarf, and all of a sudden, he's getting mugged. They say, "Yo, I like that scarf. I'm going to get it from you. Give me that scarf."
Are these people from Chicago, from New York?
Yes. And then he's like, "No, I don't
Bada
want to
bing,
give
bada boom, hand over the scarf, buddy.
Yeah. And he's like, "No, this is my special scarf. It's red. Jake
Yeah.
Gyllenhaal gave it to me. Please don't take it away."
One time I put it on a snowman and he turned into a hot frosty and it was a whole
Yeah.
situation.
It's a magical scarf. It's a magical scarf.
Yeah.
So, but they were like, "No, we want it." And then these two guys push him onto the train tracks.
Yeah, where he gets like knocked unconscious. And so
Yeah.
in comes Lucy. She's booking it. She's running. She jumps down. She tries waking him up. She waits a very long
Yeah,
time.
she wastes a lot of time. Wastes a lot of time,
Yeah,
actually.
but she does the whole trick where you like use your own the momentum you have of your weight and rolls the two of them off of the tracks.
Have you ever tried
saving.
this?
No, but I think I could do it.
I kind of want to just test it out to see if this is actually possible.
You let me know how it goes.
I'm gonna have to borrow my husband for this.
Yes, I think you should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not on
And
the train tracks, though. We don't have to do
please
that.
no. Please.
We have
I
to
mean,
do
you're
that.
close enough, but no.
Yeah.
So yeah, so then she follows him to the hospital, and there's this whole conundrum where this hospital is very, very like strict. No one but family. I don't want to even hear. If you're a friend, get the fuck out of here. Best friends since childhood, I don't give a fuck. Only
Yeah.
family. And so she is like sad, and she is like saying to herself, "Oh, I was going to marry him." Little Miss Nursey Pants over here overhears that. And when his wild family comes in and is like throwing a big hullabaloo about him being in a coma, the nurse is like, "Oh, that's his fiance."
Mind your own, nurse. Mind your own.
Yeah.
So basically, they're like, okay, so this family, so it consists of mom and dad. Dad is the dad from Everybody Loves Raymond.
Yes.
Who no clue who the mom is. I
Peter
think her name-
Boyle, aka Ox, in this film.
And then was the mom's name Midge or was that the grandma?
Midge.
Midge. That's a good name. Okay, so we got Midge.
I love Midge. Yes.
And then we have grandma.
Grandma
and-
is Elsie, and she's the one who has a heart condition.
She has a heart condition and like kind of like a Madonna British accent where sometimes it's British and sometimes it's not.
Mhm.
Then we have a younger sister who is played by Monica Keena, who, if you don't know, she played Abby Morgan,
Our fave.
dearly departed. Abby
Truly
Morgan
rip. Rest in
from
peace, Abby Morgan. Let me do one of
Dawson's
these
Creek.
for you.
Who is literally who is literally like probably my favorite character from Dawson's Creek. I think like
An
that's
icon.
She's an icon. A younger version. This obviously was before Dawson's Creek. She plays like a younger, like 15-year-old sister. The age gap is wild. We have
It's a large age gap. They don't even talk about it. It's basically just like, yeah, we all know she was an oops baby. That's why we're letting her get her ears pierced.
yeah, ears pierced for Christmas at age 15. So yeah, we have like, and then we also have Saul, and Saul is like the next door neighbor who's also a Jew, who's also like the godfather of
Yes.
Peter.
And he's technically, I guess, family, because no one in that hospital gave a single fuck that he was in the room.
Well, they probably thought that he was just like Elsie's husband. We're like, we
Yeah.
don't ask questions. We don't ask questions.
Yeah.
So then that's the family. They are, I would call them overbearing, but kind.
I would agree with that statement. And because, I mean, listen, this is a whole nightmare that Lucy is basically stuck in, where they're all freaking out and they're all like, "Oh my God, Peter's engaged. Why didn't he tell us?" Blah, blah, blah. And then they're all hugging. And then we got Elsie over here about to take a heart attack. And so Lucy's like, "What the fuck? Like, how am I supposed to tell them all that I'm actually not his fiance?"
He basically said, you know, you saved his life, but you also saved our family.
Yeah.
Because we haven't heard from Peter in a little bit and we didn't know like how he was doing, but now the family is brought back together. So,
Yes.
and then basically she kind of gets like pulled around and dragged to Christmas,
Yes.
to church. No, she didn't go to church, but she could have went to church. She kind of gets like dragged every which way. And she kind of is just one of these people that lets things happen to her and is just like unable to kind of get out of it.
Yeah.
And she does feel guilty. Like she does have a conscience and she wants to tell the truth, but then she just like wusses out and decides
Every
not to.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, I don't really blame her, because at first she very much wants to tell the truth, but she doesn't want to give poor Grandma Elsie a heart attack. Then she confesses, she thinks she's alone with Peter, who's in a coma. She confesses. Saul overhears this whole thing. Remember, Saul, not technically a family member, he's godfather / neighbor. He overhears everything, but he doesn't speak up, because he's like, "Listen, I know you're not being malicious about it, and it seems like it's brought the family a lot of joy. So let's just keep up with this ruse." And so Lucy then eventually, like, she wants to have a place to go for the holidays, right? Like, she takes them up on her offer. She's really sad. Like, she's home alone. And so she takes them up on their offer. She goes over there for Christmas, and like, they treat her like family.
Yeah.
And she falls in love with them. Like, the thing I loved most about this movie, Sarah, because the concept is insane, right? Like, the concept is ridiculous. However, I feel like it's kind of rare that we get a film where the main character falls in love with the person's family first, you know?
Yeah, I totally agree with that. It just like kind of reminds me of the episode of Sex and the City where she falls in love with the mom and the family. But she
Yes.
wants to like break up with the guy. Like she kind of hates the guy.
Yeah, he's what's his face from The Leftovers. That's who the guy is, and he can't like get it up or something. Justin Theroux is who the guy is. Yeah.
Okay. So then he's just like they're basically trapped, right? Like she's like, and the mom's like, "Please don't do it. We have so much fun together." So I think, and honestly, like I feel like you could agree with this. Like sometimes breaking up with a person, like part of the hardness of it is breaking up with the family because they become your family.
Oh, I totally agree with that. Like, the one of my older boyfriends, before my husband, like, obviously, I loved his family. Like, especially his aunt, she was always extremely kind to me, and I felt immense guilt ending that relationship because of the family situation. Like, there was just a lot of like guilt around that. And so I love that this movie depicts like sometimes it does happen, because a lot of movies, Sarah, it's like, "Oh, my mother-in-law, oh, she's the worst." Like, that's usually the trope. And so to have it instead be like, yeah, they're overbearing, but they're kind and they mean well, and they're extremely welcoming to Lucy, who doesn't have anyone, right? Like, she has a cat. Doesn't seem like she has a ton of friends that we saw, at least.
No, she has so many friends. She has that random girl that she works with, and that random guy that she works with, and that other guy that's a little racist towards her.
Yeah, Joe Fusco Jr., Joey Jr.
Yeah, she
that guy sucks. He's the worst.
So many friends. I don't know what you mean.
Yeah. And so like so she spends Christmas with them. Then someone who's late is Peter's younger brother, Jack. And he immediately is very suspicious, Sarah. Like, he
Mhm.
like susses out, like, this is weird. Why did he never talk about her? I'm gonna like check up on her, make sure she is who she says she is. And I feel like he almost catches her a few times, Sarah. Like, he goes to where she
Yes,
lives.
yes.
Freaking Joey Jr. is like, oh yeah, we're dating. Bitch, get
Joey
a restraining
Jr.
order on this man.
Truly, because Joey Jr. really is such a freaking creep and almost ruins everything for her multiple times. But yeah, so basically Jack is a junior detective, uh detective babysitter,
Yeah.
if you will. And
Mhm.
he is like, wait a minute, my brother has never spoken about this chick before. Who is she and what does she want? He probably thinks that she's trying to go after his like millions and millions of dollars and his like
Exactly.
his fancy empty apartment.
His apartment is, I hate when men have apartments like this, or people, I
Mhm,
should say. They're cold, they're
mhm.
uninviting, and I'm afraid to spill.
Well, okay, so yeah, we can talk in a couple minutes about all the icks that Peter is, but
Mhm.
or has, but basically the quiz, the initial quiz was what's Peter's favorite ice cream? But she knew
Mhm.
that because she saw the Baskin Robbins or whatever in the thing.
Sponsored by Baskin Robbins. Yep.
Yeah.
They were
And
all in
then
the freezer.
and then I'm trying to remember what the other oh, it was like who is his favorite um uh
Beetle?
bro- no, it was the brother. Like
Oh,
Curly.
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 The what are
Yeah.
the names?
Groucho, Curly,
Oh my
something.
god, Three Stooges.
Yeah,
That's it.
so basically he's like, "I'm on the case, I'll figure this out," and ultimately everybody was like, "Hey, I know a way that we could prove it. Like, tell us something that nobody else would know." And she's smart because she had ran into his coworker, and the coworker had told this like crazy story that he was like holding a pencil and then basically like popped out his testicle.
Yeah, like they were playing what, tennis or pickleball or something, and somehow he had a pencil in his pocket and literally like skewered one of Peter's balls.
Yeah, pretty revolting.
Yeah, and so
Um,
then the family, this scene was ridiculous. So Lucy says this to the whole family when they're in the hospital room. And so then they're like, okay, who's gonna look at their relatives like dick and balls? And the mom is like, I'll do it.
yeah, because once again,
Midge, you
overbearing, kind of creepy.
fucking weirdo,
Yeah.
Midge.
She's kind of a they really. So she looks and then basically that was confirmation that Lucy is not a liar, even though Lucy is just
Yeah.
savvy. And then from here on is um basically Jack and Lucy getting to know each other and flirting and driving each other crazy. And
Yeah. And
yeah,
can I make a comparison here?
yeah,
I feel like if we're making this into Chicago Sex in the City, Peter
yeah.
is big
Oh, yes.
and Jack is Aiden.
Mhm.
Because there's a
Mhm.
whole scene where they're like, oh, because they own a furniture company, and it's like, oh, dad wanted to gift you something, and they open this big moving truck, and there's this hideous sofa, and that's what they're being gifted, or that's what she's being gifted. But Jack has made this beautiful wooden rocking chair, which very
Yes.
much gave me like the vibes of Aiden and the chair that Carrie loves.
Yes, yes, yes. This was very interesting because, like you said, apparently, so like the family business is that they buy estates and then sell the dead people's furniture,
Right.
which sure, like that seems like a decent business,
It's a
right?
lucrative business, I would imagine.
Yeah, so
Antiques.
and yeah, so but Jack's big thing is that he no longer wants to be in the family business because he wants to sell his custom furniture, but he doesn't want to disappoint his dad because his dad's like kind of disappointed in him. Like his dad is like very hard on him. It seems that even though Peter's not part of the family business. Who the fuck knows what Peter does for a living?
Oh, he's a lawyer.
Oh, he's a
which is like,
lawyer.
that's why he didn't want to be a part of the family business. He wanted to be a lawyer. And like the dad was upset at first, but then it's like, okay, but he's going to be a lawyer, which is really impressive. So that's fine.
Yeah. So Jack is kind of like the disappointment of the family. Who knows what Mary, aka Monica Keena, is going to do? Probably she won't amount to much, but it's okay.
She's going to go get her ears pierced at Claire's.
Yes. Like we all did. So so yeah, they are getting to know each other. There's different scenarios where basically freaking everybody is like in and out of her apartment. There's jealousy between Joey Jr. and Jack, and like who the fuck knows what's going on? Because it's like, I love how Jack is like, it's one thing if you like me, but you also are engaged to my brother. But it's another thing if this like rando sloppy guy likes you.
Yeah. And he's like, oh, but he leaned in. And then he does the lean. And I did love the scene of like them constantly just falling like on the ice. I thought that was fun. Like they do have chemistry. Yeah. They're having a great time getting to know each other. And keep in mind, right? When Peter falls, when he gets into a coma, it is on Christmas Day. Okay. So all of this is happening between Christmas and New Year's, because it is at a New Year's party that there's this whole misunderstanding that everyone thinks Lucy is pregnant. Yeah. She is not. And it gets Jack up all in a tizzy. And it is on New Year's Eve or New Year's Day, so 1 week later, that Peter finally wakes up from his coma and is like, I don't know that bitch. Who is she?
Yes. Okay. So this was also really funny because when he finally wakes up, he's like, oh my gosh, like what happened? Nice to see you, family. Who the fuck is that? And everybody's like, you have amnesia. And
yeah. Oh, how do you not know her? You must have amnesia.
You have amnesia. It can't be that she made this whole thing up. That would never happen.
Yeah.
Even though Saul, the Godfather, like he knew what was happening. It was
and he was like, oh, we'll tell them, don't worry. And then he keeps putting it off.
Yeah, it definitely is like very messy. And then I feel like it gets interesting because throughout this whole movie, the Peter's real fiance / girlfriend, they like broke up, but then he proposed and they might be engaged.
I think it was he proposed, she said no, ended things with him, then called and left a message on his answering machine basically accepting the proposal.
Yes, I changed my mind. I'm currently in London or wherever she was. When I come back, like, let's be together. And then she keeps on calling throughout the movie. And finally she was like, you know what? I've been calling and you won't pick up. I'm over this. I'm going to get my cat and like leave.
And me Fluffy.
Yeah, poor Fluffy. And so eventually it all comes to a head because she comes home. She finds out from the doorman that like there's another fiance that has been around. Then she goes to the hospital and is like, there is no way you're getting engaged to some rando. And he's like, I'm getting engaged to the rando.
Yeah, because we find out Saul visits Peter and basically tries to do a reckoning with him and be like, it's an intervention. You can't leave because you're in the hospital. You were a shitty person prior to getting into a coma, and you're a putz if you don't realize how lovely Lucy is and how like special she is, and that you should be married to her. And so then Peter and Lucy kind of start spending time together, and he realizes like, I really was an a-hole prior to my coma, so I do want to be a nicer guy. And we find out like, oh yeah, Ashley Bartlett Bacon, who he was with previously, she is not like a great person. He's cheated on every woman he's ever dated. Like she's still married. Like he was like a real asshole. And so he wants to like change his life. And by changing his life, he's like, I'm just going to propose to this girl, Lucy. She seems nice. Let's get married. And they decide we can't even wait we have to get married like in like 2 days at the hospital
Why?
in an ugly dress. Like,
Yeah.
truly, Sarah, this
Ugh.
dress, I'm looking it up. It was so bad. It was
All for
so ugly.
what? I don't understand. All for what?
So that she didn't have to be alone anymore, I guess.
Oh, it's all because of a case of loneliness. I
It's
see.
it's loneliness. I
Okay.
think so. I mean, Sarah,
Yeah.
I'm pulling this up because
Yeah, let me see it.
truly, what is this?
Ooh, ooh, ooh.
What were we thinking here? Like,
Sh
what is this rose situation
Like a little
happening?
rosette. It's like a little Amish girl.
She has the worst
Mm,
wedding dresses in all the movies she's in. Look what they made her
yeah.
wear for the proposal.
Very silky yellow.
It's ugly.
Yeah.
It's so bad. They
Yeah,
hate
it's not
her.
good. I mean, they might. They very well might. Now,
Um,
okay. I want to talk about his icks because the number one ick, besides his apartment, which was very sterile, was the fact that this man had photos of himself in his wallet.
that was funny.
That was disgusting. That
That's
is,
crazy.
and then like he had like a modeling shot in a frame in his apartment. Like this guy is like so vain. If I saw that, I'd be like, you know what? Never mind.
Yeah. Yeah, never mind. You suck. We're not going to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he really sucks though. Like he's kind of the worst. And so she tries to say like, "No, you are nice. Like you give up your seat on the train." And she like does confess to him, right? Like she confesses at the altar.
Mm.
What are we doing? Lucy, really?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you shouldn't have even gotten to the altar. Like you got so far and you really shouldn't have. So she says, I object to my wedding. Then Ashley Bartlett Bacon comes in and goes, I object to this wedding also. And then Ashley Bartlett's husband comes in and is like, I also object to this wedding. So
And Jack
everybody
objects too.
oh, Jack. Okay, so this is a disaster, really. Like we should not have gotten this far.
Yeah, but I did love okay, even though I think it's very silly to object at the wedding and to have the wedding at a funeral or at a funeral,
Mhm.
at a hospital, because no one's like dying, right? Like he still literally has an IV like plugged into his
That was
body.
ridiculous too. This movie could at sometimes got so cracked for no reason.
Because literally, Sarah, this entire movie takes place over like a 2-week period. Like,
Yeah.
let that sink in. You know, that's
Mhm.
crazy. And so she tells the whole story. And I did appreciate that she's like, I fell in love with all of you. And then I couldn't tell the truth because, like, I didn't want to kill Elsie. And I loved you guys. And I was really lonely. And I had no family around the holidays. And you all just like welcomed me in with open arms. And she does out Saul too. She's like, you dirty dog, Saul. You lied with me.
Okay, just because like the reason why you do something bad is sad doesn't mean that's okay. Like this kind of reminds me of like Dear Evan Hansen. It was like, well, Dear Evan Hansen pretended to be best friends with that kid that um killed himself
Is
because
Dear Evan Hansen the one that you made me watch with,
uh
what's her face from Pitch Perfect?
yes.
Okay, so I've seen Dear Evan Hansen.
Yeah. It's like, well, like he did this because like he had nobody and he was in love with the sister and blah blah blah. But just because like the reason why he did that like is a sad reason because he's like lonely and pathetic doesn't make it right. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, of course. Like, I think the problem is every step along the way, everyone she asked advice from, whether it be Saul,
Her
whether it
boss.
be her boss, I think she even asked a friend at one point or somebody else, and every single person was like, you can't tell them the truth now. And it's like, what the fuck? Eventually he's gonna wake up, and if he doesn't, then what? Like, this is crazy talk. Like, what are we doing here? But she eventually she does tell the truth. She gets the fuck out of there. And then she's just still working a CTA because life's tough and she needs to pay rent. And in comes Jack. And instead of dropping a token into the little, whatever the heck that thing is called,
Mhm.
he puts a diamond ring in there and he brought the entire family with him.
What's like why are we going straight to marriage? Like why can't we just go like, hey, like let's date for a while.
Yes.
I like you, you like me. Like why do we have to go straight to marriage? But he proposes, they get married on a train, I guess. I don't know.
Well, that's
And
crazy. First of all, she works at CTA, right? I'm sorry.
yeah.
Unless your workplace is literally like your dream job or like your life's work or something you are extremely passionate about, don't propose at people's places of work. Like, that's a weird thing to do, especially in front of your whole family, especially
Mm.
because like Sarah, you know how it is. You're gonna want to take some like photos right after you get engaged. You think Sandy B wanted to take photos looking like that, like right at CTA?
I feel like she did. Like, if I feel like Lucy is just very like, life happens to me and I just go along with it.
It's like she's on a train.
She's all I got. And so
It's
much
a
so,
metaphor.
like, I know. It's like, I don't know. She seems very happy. She says yes. Well,
Yeah.
at first she's like, "Wait, I need a token before you can come in." And then she gets a
Ha ha
token.
ha.
And then she's like, "You can come in." And then she's like, "Life is different than what I expected it to be, but it's better. Me and Jack, we got married and we went to Italy and he showed me the world." And then like the last line was so weird. She's like, "And Peter asked me like when it was that I fell in love with his brother, and it was while you were sleeping." It's
Yeah,
like, what
it's
a
almost like the studio was like, okay, we'll do this movie, but the last line has to be the title of the movie.
yeah. It's like, okay, it's like I got it. Like I understood the title of the movie.
Yeah.
Like I promise you, you did not have to spell it
She
out.
said the
And
thing.
then we see her like on the subway, and then there's like the little cans and just married. It was cute. It was a cute movie. It got so unserious at times where I'm just like, does it know it's stupid? I think it does know it's stupid.
Yeah, there were times where it definitely got a little too like it was just ridiculous. And like I will say I understood Lucy at certain points of like why she's doing what she's doing, because let's face it, the reason she was going to marry Peter is because when she used to dream of all these things with her dad, it was always about traveling the world and getting stamps on her passport, and like she really had wanted to visit Italy. But like life happens and her dad gets sick, and then I'm sure those treatments he needed were very expensive and she needed a job that just paid. Like she didn't have the time, the energy, the resources, the money to do any of this traveling. Marrying Peter certainly would let her do those things, right? She'd marry into a lot of wealth and she would be able to go places. And maybe Peter is going to be a nice guy. And even if he's not, divorce him and take the money, like
Yeah.
still hang out with his super cool family because it's obvious he doesn't want to hang out with them. So you can still hang out with them. You could be that kooky aunt who still shows up even though she's divorced from the guy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
she could have made that work. And I don't think it's like a crazy, crazy thing to do, Sarah. Like I think there are crazier things a person could do.
Probably. I think that it makes sense that she really fell in love with the family, especially because it's so big and like so there. Like it's definitely like, well, she has no family. So having a family that's like kind of the opposite and just like being loud and crazy is
Yeah.
very appealing to her. And I think that there was probably more benefits to going along with this than disadvantages, besides like being put into very awkward positions. And I think that I can see a world where Lucy and Jack are there and then like they barely ever see Peter. So really
Yeah,
Lucy
exactly.
Lucy gets the family, and like they only had to deal with Peter like once in a blue moon. He probably shows up for like every other Thanksgiving.
And he's also like truly, he's one of those men that's like, I'm gonna change, I swear. And like a
And
month
he
later,
never
he's up to
does.
his same old shit. Like he's
Yeah.
never gonna truly change. So she got the best of both worlds in this. She does get the family and she gets to marry Jack, who again is a lot like her, very much fits her style, right? Like he's like, I've never seen Peter date anyone like you, but
Yeah.
she's exactly his type, right? They're both
Mhm.
like very silly, very funny, like to poke fun at each other. Like their decor styles are more homey and less like cold. So it all ends up working out. They get married. It's very cute. And I have to say, like, as much as it was a ridiculous concept, I I pretty much enjoyed this movie. Like, it's not a movie that I would return to every Christmas or anything like that. Like, certainly no. And I don't even know that I would, as much as it is a Christmas movie, I don't know that it gives me Christmas vibes as much as a lot of other Christmas movies do,
No, I would say it's feels more like just like a 90s rom-com than a Christmas movie.
Mm-hmm.
It was very, very 90s rom-com though.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. Like I did. There was definitely times where I'm just like, what in the world is happening? But it kept my attention.
Yeah.
And it was pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah. Did you know that Sandy was nominated for a Golden Globe Award for this movie?
Did they have nobody else available that year?
It's the Golden Globes. I don't know. What were they doing?
I'm excited for the Golden Globes. It's in a couple of weeks.
Yeah. They just like to do what they like to do,
It is the biggest party night in Hollywood.
There you go. Yeah, I liked it. What did you think of Bill Pullman? We really didn't talk about him much, but he's famous.
In this movie, I really liked him. Like, I was attracted to him. He had that swagger.
Did you know what other movie he's in? What other 90s movie he's in?
Casper.
Yes, but also something else.
Oh, what?
A League of Their Own.
Oh, I don't remember who.
Bob Henson.
No.
I've only seen that movie the one time we watched it for the podcast. So.
Not remembering. I know that he was the Zaddy in Casper.
He was the Zaddy. You know why I didn't recognize him? Because he has those really sexy glasses in Casper.
yeah. But that is true.
Like, I can't. Hold on.
Yeah.
Let me. If you're watching us on YouTube,
so
I have to share the.
He is hot.
Look at that guy.
Yeah, I would fuck him.
I think it's the hair too. It's everything. It's the whole aesthetic. It's the like dad sweater, the dad cardigan.
Yeah.
He has like the floppy 90s hair.
Yeah.
He has the glasses. Like he's really doing it for me in this. Okay. I'm just
not that picture.
Love those people. Anyway.
Yeah,
Bill Pullman,
hot.
very sexy in Casper.
He's hot. Yeah.
Did he age? Is he hot now? What do you think? I'm pulling up a modern.
That's hot. Yeah.
Well, this is actually from 2016.
He was hot in 2016.
He's aged very well, I would say.
Yeah.
I like it.
I thought that he was really good. Like, I thought, like I said, he had swagger. He was really funny. Like, I liked that he was the only one that was like questioning things. And like, I think that their banter was really fun. I thought it was interesting when he was talking to his brother. I think his brother was still unconscious or in a coma at the moment. He's like, I've never been jealous of you in my life, like as your brother, until this moment. Like, you like don't deserve her or something along those lines.
I loved that. Yeah.
And then like when he was carting his brother off to the elevator, and the brother was like, well, like she's fine, like I'll love her eventually, like, what is there to love about her? And like he goes on this whole thing of like, oh, she does this, and like
she drives you mad. Yeah.
Dancing in the rain, and like she would go across the world just to get a stamp on her passport. Just like typical 90s rom-com. Like, I'm going to make like a full monologue, and there's going to be sweeping music. And then in the meantime, Peter Gallagher is just like, thinking about like tic-tac-toe, he's like, he's like, I don't care about her. But I'm trying to think of like, oh, it was very like Can't Eat, Can't Sleep from It Takes Two.
Yes.
Like a home run kind of love. It was like very much like that monologue.
Yeah. No, I really liked him in it too. I thought him and Sandy B had good chemistry. And it did feel like he was the guy you wanted to root for after we met him, So yeah, I enjoyed this movie. I thought it was fun. And apparently it originally was supposed to be set in New York City, but budgetary reasons made it Chicago instead.
It's too expensive. New York is too expensive.
The original screenplay was titled Coma Guy.
Perfect. Why did we change it?
Why did we change it?
Why did we change that? That was perfect. That was art.
That is hilarious. So yeah, that's while you were sleeping. I enjoyed it. It was a fun time.
What a great Christmas movie.
Great Christmas movie.
Ho. Do you want to tell the people what our next Christmas movie is?
Yes. So the next Christmas movie is, in fact, a Robin Williams film.
Mm-hmm.
Because we love Robin Williams. We talk about Robin Williams, I feel like, more than any other 90s actor in terms of like, he's not been on any like shows we're covering, but we talk about him a lot. And we're going to be watching the 1992 comedy Toys.
Once again, I don't know if this is a Christmas movie, but apparently there's toys, and I would say sure.
Toys equal Christmas.
Toys equal Christmas. Let's just shoehorn it in, because if not, you bitches get Miracle on 34th Street.
And no one wants that.
No,
okay?
That might be next year. Very well might be next year.
Next year, we need to come up with like.
I think we need to do Batman. I think it's time for us to do Batman.
What if next year we did something like we went through the top toy purchased for every year in the 90s?
Yeah, I
Christmas.
That's a great idea. Write it down. Put it in our spreadsheet.
Okay, because that would be kind of fun. We could be all nostalgic. We're on YouTube now. In case you forgot, we're on YouTube. Find us. Look at us. Find us and look at us.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Look at us, please.
Don't. Okay. Anything else, Jess, that you want to say about this movie? The Christmas
I had a great time. I love a rom-com. I love a 90s rom-com. Also, the soundtrack was incredible, like we talked about. So I was here for it. I enjoyed it. Also, a nice hour, 40 minutes. We love that.
Yeah. No long movies, please. How long is Toys?
5
hours long?
If it's 5 hours long, I'm quitting the podcast. It is 2 hours long. Who picked this movie?
What? Well, anyway, check us out on Shit 90s Pod. Check us out. We're doing Buffy coverage and Felicity coverage. Jess is on Talking Shit. I can be found sometimes on Whirlwind Podcasts. And that's all I got. Merry Christmas, bitches.
Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We'll see ya in 2025.
Well, I mean, after we cover toys.
Of course, yeah. And some other stuff. But we'll see you next year. Okay, bye.
Just ask. Shit 90 Shows Taught Me.
Shit 90 Shows Taught Me was not filmed before a live studio audience.